So, what plants would you suggest for somebody who is feeling emotionally and energetically drained?
Okay, good one. Emotionally and energetically drained. So there's a couple ways I would suggest to approach that. Is I've mentioned this in other places, but you have several bodies. So you obviously have your physical body, most people are familiar with that, but you also have a mental body and an emotional body, and you have spiritual bodies as well. So what can happen with the emotional body is obviously, it's an electromagnetic field that extends beyond your physical body, but it's just as real as your physical body in the sense that it has all the same functions and requirements. But what's fascinating with the emotional body is it can actually develop what kind of look like holes in it. And so if the emotional body has a lot of holes in it, then it's difficult for people to hold on to their light, hold on to their life force energy. And so I think that's what you're saying when you're saying like you feel drained. You can, like you literally can just feel like that light is being drained out of you. And so my favorite plant, well, there's two. My favorite plant is three. This is a tough one because it's very common. It happens to a lot of people, and like we can talk about what causes those holes in the emotional body in another video if that's something that's interesting for you guys.
Comment down below.
Comment down below. If
you have to let us know.
Yeah, because I don't want to go off on tangents if like they're not helpful or interesting for people. So okay, there's holes in the emotional body. What do you do about it?
Top 3 plants.
How do you know? Firstly, how do you know that that's the case? There's several ways, but like mostly, I think the easiest way for people to know is you're just going to resonate with that statement. You're just going to go, I just feel emotionally drained. I feel flat. I feel like a dish rag. I feel like there's no highs, there's no lows. It's just kind of bleh. So orris root obviously springs to mind right away. Orris root is the root of the iris plant. So that beautiful iris flower. When we talk about orris, we mean specifically the root. And when I'm super specific about the portion of the plant that we use, and when I talk about these, I want to always let you know which portion, because when you're looking for plants to be effective and potent on the energetic and spiritual levels, we have to be very specific about the portion of the plant that we use, preparation, and then also their application. So orris root, and what orris root does is it actually creates it creates a protective field around that energetic body. So that's going to be helpful for preventing holes from getting bigger or from new holes from forming. So great, we've created some protection. We could also get into boundaries, but we talked about that a little bit with the grasses. So boundaries are another way of forming sort of more of a protection around your emotional body, but also keeping it precious, keeping it safe. And so that's a really important aspect that we talk about somewhere else. The other one I love for starting to heal the emotional body is Acerola cherry. And with the Acerola, the flower is best if you can get it. But what it's going to do is it's going to help to heal those holes. So the orris root sort of creates that protection around it, and then what Acerola is going to do is going to come in and help to heal any of those holes that are in the emotional body. And then the third plant, probably the easiest one, there's some obscure ones, but the one people are going to be most familiar with is almond. And almond blossom, most specifically. Almond blossom is going to help to re-nourish and sort of refill that energetic body. And I think that for specifically people that I found this to be really, really helpful for are people that have gone through a big shift and change in life. Because sometimes, even if it's a positive shift and change in life, it's so
jarring.
It's so new, right? You're in new territory. So even if it's something, it's the job that you've always wanted, or you just got married, or you just had a baby, which are all positive things, you're kind of in new territory, and that can be a little bit daunting for the emotional aspects of us sometimes. And so I find that combination of Acerola cherry and almond to be really beautiful and helpful for just sort of providing that energetic and emotional nourishment through those times of transitions. So those three are really powerful combo for the energetic or for the emotional body. And then the other one I would say is, I know I was going to pick one, I'm on to the fourth one, but then that's it, is the tobacco blossom. And that we put that one in the Delight of Life candle. Yep. Because the tobacco blossom is all about reconnecting into those small moments of joy in life. And sometimes we just need a reminder of them. We just need to retune our consciousness to, how beautiful the snow looks falling in the winter, or like how, grateful we are for our dogs, or our family members, or whatever those things are. And we know, or some people know because they've done a practice of gratitude where they write down the things that they're grateful for, and that works because you're just retuning your consciousness to pay attention to those things. And so the tobacco blossom is really helpful for it because it's going to automatically, the messaging within that plant is to remember about those moments in life and to have a moment of appreciation for them, a moment of gratitude for them, without sounding like a Hallmark card, but it helps, gets into your field in a really positive way. And it's no wonder that tobacco is used in ceremony in traditional cultures for promoting higher discourse, for promoting, raising the elevation of the vibration of a ceremony, of a gathering, of a celebration, because at the end of the day, those are about celebrating, and they are about tuning your consciousness to a higher place to come up with higher and better solutions, which come from a big participation of the emotional body. If we're looking for thoughts and inspirations, what's the energetic, what's the emotional element that we want to pair with that, right? So I would say bonus points, tobacco blossom. So Orris root for protecting the emotional body, Acerola cherry for helping to heal any holes that are in the emotional body, and then almond, specifically the blossom, is going to be really helpful for rebuilding it and nourishing it, and then tobacco blossom is just a really good, lovely reminder of those joyful things in life.
Okay, so this will take us to
long
5.
story. That was a long answer.
Okay,
5.
I'm going to make it even longer.
Okay.
Every time you list another one, I was waiting for you to say apple blossom. I have in my mind that apple blossom is good for that. Am I wrong?
I'm going to look up apple blossom in my notes because there are some specific qualities to it that I think are worth mentioning.
You and I have had the energy conversation before, and I thought that you had mentioned apple blossom. Maybe I'm wrong.
So, apple is, just apple's so wonderful. Okay, so if you're going to eat apples, so if you're looking for the benefits more on the physical level, of course, like you can get into pectin and all the nutrients and all that kind of stuff. I'm not an expert in that. But this is kind of a cute thing, is the apples in the grocery store that are going to hold the highest vibration still have their stems on them. So always look, when you're in the grocery store, look for the apples with the stems on them, because they're still, that stem allows them to stay connected to their life force energy. Amazing. So not only will they last longer in your home, but they have a higher vibrational quality. So it's not the difference between like a conventionally grown apple versus an organically grown apple. In that case, you're always looking for, you're going to be looking for a different physical quality of that apple. I'm talking about the energetic quality, the energetic vibration of that apple is going to be higher if it still has a stem on. So you can do that in the grocery store if you want. But what its spiritual properties are is really about remembering life. So it's very rejuvenating.
Okay.
And it's very, let's see if I can find specifically in my notes what it says. It's going to be wonderful for helping you to build and hold on to your life force energy.
And now we're talking about the apple blossom, not the apple?
Exactly. Okay. So when we're talking about getting the best, the highest properties of it for use on an energetic and spiritual level, then the blossom is going to be best if that's what you can get your hands on. It's not always easy to find that. We have a supplier that I work with that grows of apples in Quebec City, or in and around Quebec City. and he sends them to us, which is wonderful because he also is doing a lot of work to bring back sort of like older species of apples.
Oh, no
Anyways,
way.
he's a fascinating man, and he's just loves. He'll talk to you for 3 days about apples if you let him. So yes, the blossom is best. If you can't get the blossom, the second best portion of it is actually the skin.
Of the apple.
The skin of the apple, which is fascinating because the skin of the apple kind of fell out of favor for a period of history. But it holds the highest energy, it holds the highest vibration. So you could even do something where you make apple peel tea.
Oh wow.
And you're literally like, you just peel the apple. If you want extra points, you can put it in a dehydrator. But if you want to make it fresh, you just pour hot water over it, let it steep, maybe add a bit of mint and honey. And it's really, really wonderful for helping to make you feel like yourself again. Like it's a rejuvenator of life. It's a rejuvenator of your life force energy. It gathers you all back up from your day, from your week, from all those things that you've been worrying about potentially. And so it's a super for amplifying that. I don't think there's anything else in my notes. Yeah, it's just like the renewal. It's really about renewing life, and I think makes sense, right? I mean, look at all the topics and traditions of apple and how it gets used and its symbology and all that wonderful stuff. But make sure you buy your apples with stems on them, and you can make a tea. But we put it in. We do have a couple products we put it in.
It's in Saturday.
Yeah,
And
it's in
maybe
Saturday, so-
Elixir 16, Custom Elixir 16?
Yeah, and we did make a candle with it once, which was lovely. Maybe we bring that back. I don't know. Anyways, that's apple.